The annual joint naval exercises named Malabar CY-10 that began in 1992 between the Indian and US navies will kick off on the 27th of April off the Indian coast in the Arabian Sea, lasting several days.
The announcement was made at a joint press conference organized aboard the INS Mysore in Vasco, in which officials from the Indian and the US navies provided details on their annual exercise involving around 3,000 men from both navies and around 4 ships from each country. Towards the maintenance of maritime security, an India-USA framework for maritime security cooperation was signed in 2006. The first exercise was held in 1992, and this is the 14th in the series. The exercise, named Malabar CY-10, will be held in the Arabian Sea beginning from 27th of April. The thrust of the exercise this year would be on anti-submarine warfare, surface firings, maritime interdiction operations, visit board search and seizure, and submarine operations. The primary aim of this exercise is to derive benefit from each other's experiences. The interoperability achieved over the years from these exercises has proved beneficial, particularly during the ongoing anti-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden. Addressing media people about INS Mysore, Rear Admiral Sudhir Pillai, who is also the flag officer for Goa region, said that naval cooperation between India and US epitomizes the long-term strategic relationship between the two countries.
Malabar is an Indo-US bilateral naval exercise. Naval cooperation between India and the US epitomizes the long-term strategic relationship between our two countries. Both navies have over the years undertaken diverse bilateral activities such as training exchanges, information exchange and technical cooperation.
Admiral Kevin Donegan of the US Navy said that it was wonderful for his sailors to be in India, particularly in Goa.
It's wonderful for us to be in India. I think that's the most important thing to come out of. Many of my members of my crew have never been to India before. Many of the members of my crew have not been to India before, so for them it is a great experience, and no better place to come than to the west coast of India, and particularly into Goa. It is really a treat for them, not only to be here working with the community as you saw yesterday, but to be out and experiencing the culture of India and to enjoy this great weather and this great country. For us, Malabar is not just a one-time event. It's an event where we get together with the Indians and do a formal exercise. But the reason that we can do such a complex exercise together that is Indian-led is because throughout the year we're constantly working, as all navies do, together on the oceans so that when it comes time for an exercise, we're most prepared to do the work.
Replying to a media query on the likely effect of these exercises on anti-piracy operations of Somalia, the commanding officer of INS Mysore, Commander Atul Jain, said these exercises would certainly help in the anti-piracy operations.
Now, in what way exercise Malabar will help in anti-piracy operation? During anti-piracy operation, when you come across boat which is hostile, what we are expected to do is go carry out boarding operation, carry out search operation, and thereafter taking actions as required. During exercise Malabar also, there is a lot of focus on similar kind of concept and exercises which will be undertaken. So certainly this is going to help us and understand each other's way of doing operations once we have to actually do it.
Answering a question about the benefit of the exercise, Rear Admiral Sudhir Pillai said it would be difficult to conduct anti-piracy operations without interoperability exercises.
The exercises like these that we carry out with the US Navy helped us to seamlessly interface with US naval assets in the Gulf of Aden. For example, the ship was fueling from USNS Tipicano, a complex operation which if we don't exercise in peacetime, it wouldn't be very easy to do. So we are compatible as far as communications went. We could carry out complex exercises, and together we were working towards peace and stability in that region.
Admiral Kevin Donegan said The exercises helped them to interact in complex anti-piracy operations in vast oceans.
No one nation can ensure the security of the oceans of the world. Many navies have to work together to do that. And in the case of anti-piracy operations in Aden and elsewhere, you will see that many nations are involved in that. And it's us working together, for instance, as we are here today and this week with the Indians, that allows us in those situations to share the information about the operation with each other, to understand each other's procedures. And then when we go to execute anti-piracy operations, whether we're doing it independently or together, we share enough information so that we're doing it to the best effect, because there's not, I think you heard our CNO say recently, there's not enough forces out there in the whole world to patrol all the oceans. We have to do this collectively together, and anti-piracy is a perfect example.
Rear Admiral said the anti-piracy operations were conducted in a huge area where there were fishermen and lots of other ships in the international waters.
The area we are talking about, for example, the Gulf of Aden and the northern Arabian Sea, is a huge area. There are a lot of ships deployed there from various countries cooperating closely to tackle this menace of piracy. But the problem is huge, the distances are huge, there are a lot of peaceful fishermen in those areas, a lot of people engaged in other kinds of maritime activities, so it is a complex mission.
Admiral Kevin Donegan said, besides the benefits of exercises in operations, long-term friendships were also formed.
We think it's benefited us tremendously. One, I think we covered quite extensively how operationally it's benefited us both, because it's a high-end exercise and we get a tremendous amount of training from it. The other point that's maybe not as apparent is, even though we're getting this high-end operational experience and training, we're also out meeting each other, working together, and making friendships that will be lasting. And we make those friendships not only at the flag level here and the captain level, but we make those friendships at the low level with all our sailors. And so as we continue to watch the U.S. Navy and Indian Navy relationship, you will see over time, for instance, this is the 14th Malabar, but over time, many of the people that are coming back do have friends. They have made friendships that have been lasting. We share a few things. One, both democratic nations. Two, both have a common interest in anti-terrorism and a common interest in maritime security. If you look at it, you'll see that we devote as much time to preparing for war. We devote as much time to the prevention of war as we do to that. And so the key to be able to do that is to be out and about and operating and making friends and building partnerships and strengthening those partnerships so that we can be successful in the prevention of war.